Chapter 1. Guman Yun, the only daughter of Zhang Qing, the richest man, went bankrupt and ended up on the streets. Just as my family had become newly rich, I drove up in my Jinbei van, offered her 30 million to have my child, and incidentally took her whole family in. Unexpectedly, the Goof family made a comeback. I grabbed her newborn son, took my family, and ran away overnight. When we met again, I was running a street food stall with my son. She looked at me, her gaze icy. I mocked myself. Go ahead and hit me if you want. Her eyes welled up with tears. I've wanted to kill you, you heartless man, for a long time. 10 lamb skewers, no spice, coming right up. Wait a sec. Without looking at the customer, I held my 3-year-old son in my left arm, a cigarette dangling from the corner of my mouth, and skillfully grabbed 10 skewers, dipping them in sauce. Son, how about you stay with your old man until 2 o'clock today? Okay, Dad. My son was very well behaved. I was very pleased. He takes after his mother, so he'll definitely be incredibly handsome when he grows up. I took the cigarette out of my mouth, kissed him on the cheek, and started mumbling. People say daughters are money pits, but I think sons are about the same. If your grandparents could take you today, your dad could work until 5 in the morning. Damn it, I'll make a few hundred more. My son was too young to understand much. He just nodded and said, "Oh, Lin Shandu." A roar interrupted me. Looking up, my soul nearly left my body. A stunningly beautiful woman glared at me, her icy gaze like the frost and snow of a December ice pool, piercing straight through me. The chilling air around her felt as if it would swallow me whole. In the next second, Why you? I stammered, unable to speak properly. The murderous look in her eyes sent chills down my spine. Chapter 2. Guman Yun, you're impressive. I hid with my whole family in the corner of the room, and you still found us. After a long while, unable to bear her gaze, I stammered, How did you get here? She remained as cold as ever, glancing at me before her gaze softened visibly as it landed on my son. Tears welled up in her eyes. My son, a little scared, hid in my arms, peeking at her. Why can't she come here? A handsome young man beside Guman said coldly, his eyes filled with jealousy as he looked at me. I ignored him. Wuan, wealthy Guman Yun's devoted admirer. Seeing my silence, his face darkened. He turned to Guman and said, You promised, as long as the child is found, our wedding can proceed as planned. Without waiting for Guman to speak, he continued, Get him instantly. The bodyguards behind him stepped forward and charged towards me. You're trying to steal my son. Rage surged through me. I grabbed the kitchen knife from the counter and swung it at the nearest bodyguard's head. The bodyguard, quick to react, dodged back, breaking out in a cold sweat. Seeing this, the other bodyguards realized they were dealing with someone ruthless. What? My son? Ed burst into tears. I held the knife in one hand and my son in the other, looking like a desperate man ready to fight to the death. Chapter 3. Stop it! She backhanded Wuan across the face, her voice icy. Who gave you permission to act on your own? If you hurt my son, I'll take your life. Wu Qin's face flushed, then paled, but he didn't dare retaliate, remaining silent. There was no way he could. The Wu family and the Goof family were on completely different levels. He even wanted to marry her, so he could only suppress his anger. Get out, all of you! Wuan's face, filled with resentment, left with all the bodyguards, leaving only Gum Manian behind. Seeing them leave, I finally put down the kitchen knife and started to comfort my son. Bye-bye, Gum Yun's voice was gentle as water. My son looked up through his tears. Who are you? The next moment, Gum Yun's cold gaze, sharp as a knife, landed on me. My anger hadn't subsided yet, and I was about to speak, but the image of Gun's frail appearance after giving birth flashed through my mind, softening my heart. She's your mom. Mom. My son looked confused. Gum Man Yun gritted her teeth, then forced a smile at her son. Mom means mother. I'm your mother. Unable to hold back any longer, she snatched her son into her arms, holding him tightly and sobbing uncontrollably. The Ice Queen was crying. It was a sight I had never seen before, and I was stunned. I had known her for 7 years and had never seen this side of her. Chapter 4. Daddy. My son looked a little scared. He struggled free from Gum Man Yun and rushed towards me. I scooped him up, elated and brimming with pride. Gum Man Yun didn't dare go against our son's wishes and let him go. Lynch Shua. I want absolutely not. Name your price. How much? How much do you think I care about money? Guanan was speechless. She knew the man in front of her truly didn't care about money. Back then, her family had fallen on hard times, abandoned by everyone. Her father was imprisoned, and the whole family was left homeless. I drove up in my Jean Bay van and packed her entire family in all at once. Marry me for 30 million and bear me a child. That was the first thing I said to Guanan, looking at her helpless family. Gum Man Yun gritted her teeth and agreed. She knew my father had only 140 million in the lottery after taxes. 30 million wasn't much for the Gu family in their former glory, but it was enough to allow them to live a decent life after their downfall. After Gum Man married me, I worked hard every night. My dad said it well, this time, improving the Lin family bloodline is a matter of great importance, and there's no room for error. For my dad and me, having the breathtakingly beautiful daughter of the richest man bear a child for the Lin family was the most important thing. Money. Whatever. Chapter 5. Oh, my man Yun. What are you doing here? Mom and Dad appeared out of nowhere. Seeing them suddenly appear, I was furious. This trip back home to visit relatives must have been disrupted. Covered by Gum Man Yun, the one being followed arrived faster than the one following. Ioza's mom held her grandson, staying far away from Gum Man Yun with a vigilant look. Dad, with an embarrassed face, said, Man Yun, are you hungry? Want some lamb skewers? Gum Man Yun, holding back her anger, said, I'm not hungry. I'll be going now. After she left, the three of us exchanged glances and immediately packed up the stall and went home. In the living room, the atmosphere was a bit heavy. Dad spoke first, saying, I think we need to leave again and find another place. We just won't visit relatives anymore. Mom nodded in agreement, holding her grandson preciously, and said, The Gu family is definitely here to snatch the child. If we don't leave now, when will we? She even used an idiom, truly remarkable. You have to know, the last time we ran away, Mom was against it. I frowned deeply, agreeing, and said, Let's go right now. As soon as the words fell, the three of us started to move. Anything we couldn't take, we left behind. Anything we could take, we picked up. As for the barbecue stall, we left it all. Anyway, after giving the Gu family 30 million from Dad's lottery winnings, the rest was lost by us. Father and son, we weren't bothered by this small loss. After running away 3 years ago, Dad thought he should invest in a business. If he became a tycoon, it wouldn't be impossible for me to go back and marry Gan Yun. Who would have thought neither of us were cut out for business? Every investment was a loss in the end. When we had nothing left, we could only pick up our ancestral craft, grilling lamb skewers. Dad set up in the east of the city, I set up in the west, and life was manageable. Eventually, we figured out the reason for our losses. It must have been the name my dad gave me, Lai Chindo, which equals 0. Chindo means lots of zero money, destined not to make a fortune. Dad felt very guilty about this. In barely 20 minutes, Mom with the baby and Dad and I with our bags went downstairs. However, just as we reached the bottom of the stairs, we met Gum Man Yun's seemingly amused gaze. Where are you all going in such a hurry so late at night? The scene froze. After a long moment, Dad chuckled awkwardly. Well, we're home visiting family, and everyone wants to see our baby. Gum Man Yun's lips curved into a smile. Perfect. I'm on my way. Let's go together. She then stepped aside, revealing the extended Maybach behind her. I sighed inwardly. There was no way out. Our family of 4 was surrounded by over a dozen bodyguards. Dad and I exchanged a look, instantly understanding each other's thoughts. My face hardened. Gum Man Yun, you don't need to come to me about our son's custody. The 30 million I took wasn't for nothing. Your Gu family is planning to marry into the Wu family, and from what Wu Qin said, your condition is to get her son back. I'm telling you absolutely not. He's a Lin, and he'll never call someone else Dad unless I'm dead. Gum Man Yun pursed her red lips. her expression unreadable. When did I say I wanted to take him from you? I was completely taken aback. If you're not here to take him, then what are you doing here? Guman Yun's face darkened. Linchua, I carried Lin Bobby for 10 months. Don't I even have the right to see him? Of course you do. I was a little embarrassed, honestly. Running away wasn't exactly the most honorable thing to do, but the Goof family was powerful, and if they tried to take our son, I wouldn't be able to stop them. Hiding was our only option. Guma nodded. I'm not here to take him. I just want to know where he is so I can see him whenever I want. That's it. All right then, you can go back now. Come visit whenever you want. Here, Mom, give me our son. Let his mother hold him for a while. Lin Bobby was already asleep. I carefully took him and placed him in Guman's arms. I knew Guman was a woman of her word. There was no need for her to lie to me. Theoretically, the possibility of her taking our son and marrying someone else was practically zero. As Guman looked at the sleeping child in her arms, a wave of maternal love washed over her face. Chapter 7. Have you looked enough? Give me back the child. A few minutes passed, and I figured she'd held him long enough. Guman Yun glared at me and whispered, You're always like this. Your impatience will never change. I touched my nose. Why start scolding me now? My mom, beside me, looked at Guman Yun with a thoughtful expression. After a while, Guman finally couldn't resist. She carefully kissed the baby's face, looking extremely satisfied. Go back to Jianeng. That way, I can see the child every day, Guman said to me seriously. I shook my head vehemently. I refused without even thinking. If I went to her territory, wouldn't I be at her mercy? Seeing me so unyielding, Guman's eyes narrowed, and she said angrily, I just want to see the child often. You're staying in this small border town. There's not even an airport. Driving back and forth takes more than 10 days. How can I see the child? And in a place like this, how can the child develop in the future? Do you want Bobby to sell lamb skewers with you? Didn't you always want to improve the Lin family bloodline? In the end, you're still selling lamb skewers. I was speechless. My dad's face also darkened. After a long time, I stammered, Is this ancestral lamb skewer recipe still needs to be passed down? Guman Yun's eyebrows shot up, her eyes filled with anger, her bright lips pressed tightly together, her cheeks flushed with anger, and her chest heaving. 100,000 a month. This is the child support I'll give for Bobby. The child will live with you. I only have one condition. I want to see my son whenever I want. Is there such a good thing? I exchanged glances with my mom and dad. I nodded and said, Then all right. Okay, now I really am Mr. Moneybags. After all, I still value my son's growing environment. As long as the Goof family doesn't try to take him away, everything is fine. How could it be that 3 years ago, even if we hadn't left, the Goof family wouldn't have taken the child? I wondered silently. Chapter 8. On the way back to Nan, I don't know what method Guman used, but she made my son incredibly happy. He called her Mama more and more smoothly, making me envious and regretful, fearing that this woman would go back on her word. Finally, after 3 years, we arrived in Nan. Looking at the familiar city through the car window, I felt a myriad of emotions. The car drove into a small townhouse. I remember this is the one Guman bought for the family after I gave the Goof family 30 million. Now it's empty. Oh well, it was bought with my money anyway. Living here won't be too awkward. Guman kept her promise. She said she needed to go back to the company to deal with some things and didn't take the child with her. Bye-bye, Mama. My son kissed Guman on the cheek. Guman immediately beamed and kissed him back. Mama will be back soon. After she left, the family meeting started again. Dad, is this reliable? Mom shouldn't be a big problem, right? My phone beeped. Alipay transfer received, 100,000 yuan. The family meeting ended not long after. Mom and Dad took my son out. Needless to say, they definitely wanted to show off their grandson to relatives and friends. After all, he looks like his mother, so handsome. I was the only one left in the villa. I took a shower, changed my clothes, and lay on the sofa, browsing through profiles of attractive women. After a while of browsing, I added dozens more followers. Looking good, looking good. Hey, holy crap! When did you get here? I turned around and saw Guman standing behind the sofa with a cold face, startling me. Guman didn't speak, just stared straight at me until my scalp went numb. Then she said faintly, "Lin, you're so heartless." Her watery eyes were clear as a spring. My face flushed, and I was speechless. Since I became Guman's deskmate in 11th grade, I've never lost an argument with her, but at this moment, I couldn't speak. However, thinking that she was about to get married, my heart sank. I replied, "You're about to get married. After all, it's better to say less of these ambiguous things." After speaking, I put my legs up on the coffee table and started bouncing my foot. Guman looked at the back of my head, gritted her teeth, and couldn't hold back anymore, slapping me with a paw. Ouch! You damn woman! She really hit me hard. It hurt so much. I can't say much about the Gu family and the Wu family. You'll find out eventually. Came Guman's icy voice from behind. Chapter 9. What do you mean? I didn't understand and didn't bother thinking about it. What are your plans? Guman sat across from me and asked. I was a bit baffled. Haven't thought about it. Her beautiful eyes glanced away. I need an assistant. Are you interested? An assistant, together day and night? Looking at her graceful figure, I felt a flush of heat. During that time, I had learned everything about her. My gaze blushed and I fidgeted. I refused directly. Gu Manon had started taking over the family business and frequently appeared on television. I was aware of this. Needing an assistant was perfectly normal. However, as a man, I had no interest in waiting on a woman hand and foot every day. Perhaps it was an illusion, but a flicker of disappointment crossed Gu Manon's face. You can't just stay home doing nothing all day, can you? I immediately bristled. I'm making 100,000 a month, taking good care of our son, watching him. What else do I need to do? My attitude of living off her was shamelessly arrogant. Unexpectedly, Gu Manon twitched the corner of her mouth and nodded. All right then. After that, neither of us spoke. After a long while, I suddenly said, let's go to the Civil Affairs Bureau sometime. I shouldn't hold you back. Gu Manon's face, which had been normal, instantly turned icy cold, emitting an unapproachable aura. Have you thought this through? Her voice was as cold as a glacial spring. I seemed to sense something in my heart, but thinking of her status, I gritted my teeth and said, yes, fine. See you at the Civil Affairs Bureau tomorrow morning at 9. After saying that, she stood up and walked towards the door. Aren't you going to wait for our son to come back? I called out from behind. However, Gu Manon's steps quickened, and soon she disappeared from my sight. My parents returned with our son, elated and looking satisfied. It seemed they had enjoyed showing him off. I held my son, looking at his face, which resembled Gu Manon by 70%, and sighed softly. Gu Manon eventually returned, took our son, and the two of them shared a tender moment. She didn't even glance at me. Chapter 10. The next day, 9 o'clock sharp, I arrived at the Civil Affairs Bureau on time. Half an hour passed, but Gu Manon was nowhere to be seen. Unable to wait any longer, I called her directly. 5 consecutive calls went unanswered. Finally, on the 6th call, a strange female voice answered. Hello, who is this? Ms. Gu is in a meeting. Please call back later. All right. I turned around and went home. For some reason, deep down, I felt a sliver of relief. For 3 consecutive days, Gu Manon came to see our son after work as usual. However, she never showed up at the Civil Affairs Bureau. At home, she didn't say a word to me. Lin Shenhuo, get the hell out here. A roar came from outside. Hearing the familiar voice, my face lit up. As soon as I stepped outside, I saw my good friend of over 10 years, Yulong. Ha ha, brother. Long time no see. How have you been? I screamed, my nose feeling like it had been struck by lightning, 2 warm streams gushing out. Damn. With my temper, I couldn't stand for that. I immediately punched him squarely in the right eye. Yulong, in pain, kicked me in the stomach. Bang, bang, bang. Yulong and I instantly exchanged blows, creating quite a commotion. My parents glanced out, then closed the door, clearly not wanting to deal with it, as if afraid of sullying their grandson's eyes. They seemed used to it. It couldn't be helped. We had been fighting since we were kids. Ganin was also inside, occasionally crying out in pain, her lips curled up slightly. After my dad closed the door, she went to find our son, not bothering to pay me any attention. 20 minutes later, Yulong and I lay sprawled on the ground, unable to move. Chapter 11. You, Xia Chong, are you brain dead? I cursed, my face contorted. Yulong, bruised and swollen, sneered. What? I'm hitting you. And if you're not convinced, come at me again. Come on then, who's afraid of who? I blustered, though my strength was gone. After a while I sighed. Are you sick, ambushing me every time we meet? Yulong snorted. I'm hitting you, you heartless bastard who abandoned her. So that's it. I cringed, embarrassed. He looked at me seriously. Do you know after you left, Guman Yun went crazy looking for you? She comes here at least twice a month, and I heard that because of excessive grief, she didn't recover well after giving birth and now has chronic health problems. What? She went crazy looking for me and she's suffering from health problems. My heart ached, and I remained silent. Lin Shernua, I really don't know what's going on in your head. I heard you're even trying to divorce her. Just thinking about how heartless you are makes me regret ever being your brother, Yong said with contempt. Dejected, I said, I don't deserve her. Deserve her? You have a son together, and now you're saying this? Back in high school, who couldn't see what was going on between you two, bickering all the time while secretly liking each other? It was sickeningly sweet, Yulong mocked, touching his swollen face. I retorted, blushing. Yulong shook his head and patted my shoulder. Do you really think you were the only one who could offer 30 million? That was before you offered 100 million. 100 million? My mind reeled. Yulong struggled to his feet, dusted himself off, and walked towards the door. Let's have a drink sometime, and if you mess up again, I'll beat you to death. After he left, I couldn't hold back anymore. Tears streamed down my face. Chapter 12. I returned to the room and saw only Guman Yun. Hey, Guman Yun, are you feeling okay? I cautiously approached her. Seeing my bruised face, she twitched the corner of her lips but didn't speak. I lost my marriage certificate. I mustered my courage and spoke ambiguously. Guman Yun sighed upon hearing this and looked at me. Do you need to get a new one? I shook my head vehemently. No need, no need. Why bother? A gentle look flashed in her beautiful eyes. She didn't say anything, just leaned her head gently on my shoulder, revealing a peaceful smile. The world quieted down. Neither of us wanted to break the tranquility of this moment. After a long time, she said, Don't do this again, it hurts me. Leaving behind these words, Guman Yun left. I was left feeling lost and melancholic. Time flew by. A month passed in a flash. Today was the engagement day of the Gu family, and the hotel was magnificent, filled with guests. I stood in a corner watching the two on stage. An unspeakable bitterness filled my heart. What was Guman trying to do? Did she want to have her cake and eat it too? She's getting engaged to someone else, so what did those words she left that night mean? I thought something would happen, but it turned out to be a fleeting illusion. My heart turned to ashes. Chapter 13. You bastard! Come out for drinks. I called you long at the late-night food stall. You drank with me until we were both completely drunk. You hit me for nothing last time. I don't think things are that simple. Get lost. Unconsciously, I was already passed out. When I woke up again and opened my eyes, I saw a breathtakingly beautiful face. Why are you here? Where is this? I opened my eyes blurrily and saw Guman Yun sitting beside me. Looking around, I realized we were in a hotel room. What, are you heartbroken that I'm engaged to someone else? Her red lips parted slightly, the corners of her mouth lifting like a peach blossom blooming in spring, a smile overflowing from her eyes. Hearing this, I sobered up considerably and sneered. Heartbroken? Yulong's girlfriend dumped him. I'm just being a good friend, comforting his wounded heart. Guman burst out laughing. Oh, I forgot to tell you, Yulong got married last year. You've only met him twice, so he probably hasn't told you yet, has he? Damn it, that bastard Yulong. I hope he rots. My face turned crimson. I quickly changed the subject. You should worry about yourself. You're engaged, yet you're here in a hotel room alone with me. Aren't you afraid of gossip? Guman Yun watched my expression with amusement, looking quite pleased with herself. Well, unless something unexpected happens, the Wu family will collapse tomorrow. What do you mean, collapse? I was dumbfounded. Guman nodded, saying cheerfully, nothing much, just what it means literally. Really? That's so unfortunate. Why didn't you tell me sooner? I could no longer hide the smile on my face, but I was also a bit angry. Chapter 14. Guman Yun's eyes suddenly filled with tears. You were gone for 3 years. Do you know what it felt like for me, lying alone in the hospital? Back then, my father was reinstated. His name cleared. I thought it was something to be happy about, but you took my son and ran. In an instant, my happy family was gone. The child was so young, he didn't even get to have breast milk. I thought you loved me, but because of your own selfish reasons, you didn't even explain things to me and just left. You're so cruel. Well, I deliberately didn't tell you. I wanted to make you so angry you'd die. Ming Ming Ming. In an instant, Guman Yun was a weeping mess. I felt at a loss, overwhelmed by guilt. Hit me if you want, don't hold back. Guman cried even harder, but her delicate fist landed softly on my face without any force. I'm going to beat you to death, you heartless man. I couldn't hold back anymore. I pulled her tightly into my arms. The familiar soft and fragrant embrace after a long separation. I found her lips and kissed her like dry wood would ignite fire. A spark ignited a blaze, a storm raged, unwilling to cease. The next day, news of the Wu family's downfall was everywhere. People were stunned. They had just formed an alliance with the wealthy Guo family yesterday, and today they were finished. It was all too coincidental. The marriage between Gan Yun and Wu Jin naturally fell apart. Gan Yun told me that the Wu family was behind the Guo family's previous troubles, and Wu Jin's offer of 100 million for her hand in marriage was also not well-intentioned. This time, the Guo family deliberately agreed to the marriage proposal, then used various means to take their revenge. Chapter 15. Today, the house was exceptionally lively. Gan Yun arrived with her entire family. My father-in-law, Gunung, looked at me with a piercing gaze and said faintly, "Did you think that just because my family received your help during a difficult time, we would be ungrateful and you could abandon your wife and child?" I repeatedly apologized and admitted my mistake. My father-in-law, being the richest man, was magnanimous and didn't bother to argue with me. He went off to enjoy some family time, holding his eldest grandson. 1 month later, a grand wedding was held in Joning. Gan Yun and I, holding our son's hand, walked down the aisle. I was ecstatic. Her face was filled with happiness. My good friend, Yulong, was watching from below, tears streaming down his face, his hands red from clapping. All our relatives knew our story. The journey had been incredibly difficult. They were all applauding and blessing us. This time, I understood. I learned to communicate, to stop arguing and being silent. After the wedding, I whispered sweet nothings, making my icy wife blush deeply, every day shyly burying her head. I was overjoyed. See, isn't this much better? Why must husband and wife hurt each other?